A study published by Rice University geoscientists Ming Tang in 2019 offers a new explanation for the origin of Earth's continent. Geological structures called arcs, towering ridges that form when a dense oceanic plate subducts under a less dense continental plate, melts in the mantle below, and then rises and bursts through the continental crust above. Okay, so first sentence, I see the subject, I study. Subject and the verb will be offers. So a study offers a new explanation, an object, for the origin of Earth's continent. Geological structures called arcs, towering ridges that form. Okay, so first we have a main clause, and second part, I'm trying to see if there's a clause here. It's very tempting because if you start with a geological structure called arc, just assuming that's a subject. Now, towering ridges is simply a participial phrase that explains these arcs. So towering ridges that form, we have a dependent clause that form because of ridges form when a dense, we have a lot of dependent clause here. Dependent clause, and we also have a dependent clause. When a dense oceanic plate conducts, so plate conducts, subject and verb. But still, I use this cyan color because I want to show you guys that this is dependent one. Okay, it's not the main sentence or it's not the main clause. Their job is just to elaborate something before. Plate subducts under a less dense continental plate, melts in a mantle below, and then rises and bursts. Okay, so I'm gonna put two brackets at the end because this is the first bracket. I'll use a different color, green. Okay, when a dense oceanic plate subducts, melts, rise, and bursts. Okay, so they are all part of the dependent clause, even though they look like an independent clause. So be careful when you read this because it's very tempting to choose like B, C, and D because they do fix that or they do seem to connect the two clauses, but in reality, we don't see it's not all this second part, the second line and third line are not a standalone independent clause. Therefore, choice B is a correct answer. But let me first eliminate the answer choice A. Choice A, we don't make the boundary. Okay, subject and verb and object, we have a main clause. And after that geological structure called arcs, that's the phrase, that's a supplementary phrase that need a boundary between the main clause. So it's missing a punctuation. So choice A is crossed out. Choice C and choice D. The problem with those, okay, I'm gonna call this run on. Okay, missing boundary for choice A before I go. Choice C, we have a semicolon, and the reason why semicolon cannot work is that despite we see so many subject and verbs, verb, despite we see that, it's not a clause. And some of you might have thought, oh, arcs, and then arcs melt, rise. Well, that's a plural, and this is singular. So you know that these verbs don't tie with arcs. They actually tie with a plate. And that's why I put this bracket for you guys to see that we have an inner dependent clause. So these arcs is not a subject and there's no verb for arcs. Therefore, there's no clause and we cannot choose semicolon. Even though it successfully made a boundary between the first clause and the second part of the sentence. So C is out. D, like same reason as choice C, you can't just say geological with a brand new sentence. Geological structure called arcs. I'm not seeing any verb for arcs here. So D is out. Now choice B is good because we have a colon. Not only does it separate the main clause from the rest of the phrase, it also offers a new explanation in further clarification. Okay, we don't just say offers new explanation and the sentence. We actually do clarify, go in depth after this colon. So that's a correct usage of a colon for further explanation. Choice C, the reasoning was that so wrong punctuation. So how should I say it? Um, no semicolon. And choice D, if I have to summarize choice D, it's not a clause. I'm going to also say it's not a clause in the second part of the sentence. Both, so you cannot start a. Actually, I just got an idea. It's a fragment. Yeah. Okay. If you say geological structure called arcs, no verb. That's fragment. And yeah, choice C would be more like not a clause. So no semicolon might be a better reasoning. This is a run-on sentence. Choice A, run-on. So yeah, answer is B. Thank you for watching.